evening. Yes, people of Dominica, good evening to the United Workers' Party's education train. This is what we do best. We have taken it upon ourselves to educate our people because we believe if they are educated, they will be able to do and take the kind of decisions that are necessary to be taken at this critical time in our history to ensure that we have good and accountable governance in our country. But as I welcome you, I want to also welcome to the podium Mr. Lambert Charles to lead us in a word of prayer.
Let us pray. Almighty Father in heaven, we are indeed grateful for this opportunity to be here in Lagoon this evening as we gather and as we deliberate on the points of interest which will assist not only ourselves but the entire nation. We ask that you be with us, be with those who will speak, those who will deliberate. May they be mindful of the fact that you are in full control. Help us, dear Father, to depend on you in every way to take care of our needs. And we pray for this country. We pray for the direction in which it's going. We ask that you put a hand on those who lead, that they may be mindful of your presence and remember the less fortunate. We pray, Lord, on behalf of the state in which our agriculture is in and the many areas in which we have failed thus far. And may you help this United Workers' Party to continue working hard to ensure that Dominica turns around and that we see true development in our nation. We ask a special blessing on everyone present here, those listening and those coming to this gathering. We ask that you bless each and every person, that Dominica will be better off tomorrow, tonight, and forever. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. Throughout this evening, we will be saying thank you to the patriots of Dominica, those who understand the struggle that we are going through in our country and stood up and said to the Prime Minister that we are not ready and we will not be re-enslaved in our country. Those who want to corrupt our electoral process, those who are making all forms of excuses to justify that which is already illegal. We are standing against this. Our country is a blessed country, and we want it to remain that way.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is up to Dominicans hereafter to decide when. We apologize.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a packed program tonight. We have a program and you will hear our different speakers on the main issues. The amendments that the Prime Minister sought to have passed in our Parliament to affect the House of Assembly Electors Act and the Registration of Electors Act. We will speak about the violence being perpetrated by the Dominica Labour Party, the violence on our bodies, on our souls, and on our minds, the violence exhibited in our Parliament. And whilst the Prime Minister sits to blame others, he is unable to sanction the kind of violence that was exhibited in the House of Parliament at the last sitting. We will speak about that. We will speak about the amount of money that this Prime Minister has managed. And we can see development in our country commensurate with the amount of money that he has had. And we will speak about many other things. But at each phase and stage, we will punctuate our messages with thanks to the Dominican public, those of you who are assembled here, those who are listening in Dominica via radio and the internet, and those who are listening outside of Dominica, we thank you for standing up for your country, and I will stand with you. At this time, it pleases me to invite to the podium a gentleman I really do not know his complete name, but I'm sure every Dominican knows him. We respect him because he is like a one-man warrior for what is right in our country. We've heard his voice every day on every radio station, asking one question after another on behalf of the people of Dominica. It pleases me to bring to the podium the gentleman that we all know as Blessings. Welcome, Blessings.
Yeah, I say praises, thanks, blessings, and glory to all those who have sacrificed their personal safety and security, trying to elevate mankind to humanity. A lot of us are afraid. We're all afraid. You see the intimidation tactics, Roosevelt scared. To every little protest, every little meeting, every little picketing, every little demonstration, you have police upon police upon police. They are not military, but they're dressed up in military khaki and they're armed. So then a lot of people are afraid. But every day we hear young people dying of cancers, accidents. Look at what happening, what they call that place where Erica knocked out of there, Peter Salvan. You see what one disaster came and do? And you're afraid of standing up and fight for what you believe. And fight for what is tangible, what you can hold, see, touch, feel. Dominica, we are afraid. We are all afraid. All of a sudden we hear somebody died. And that person had nothing to do with risking their lives or sacrificing their lives to stand up for what is right, truth, justice, and righteousness. And they died. So are we going to allow Roosevelt scare and these criminal enterprise to use these strategies where people feel so afraid and so intimidated because he come back in, go to hell, it's not your damn business. No law, no constitution, this country is too free. Go to Westgate telling people if they vote the United Workers' Party, the blood of the nation will be on their hands. It's a little psychological ploy he's using to get you scared. So you're going to stay home because anytime they start shooting people, I love life. But death is not in opposition to life. It's about death and birth. Life is eternal. You're always there. You do not have to listen to me. Check it out for yourself. But I just wanted to say, we are too easily fooled in this country. We allow this criminal enterprise to use all their techniques where they're going to use money. It's like a man who doesn't have a vehicle, but he's going to borrow his friend's vehicle or his sister, his brother, and go in a community, and the girl he really love, or he's claiming love, or he's attracted to, and impress her with a brand new vehicle, some latest model, or expensive vehicle. And when you don't wake up to the realization, it's not even a damn vehicle. Or you might got papers in the size of our money, and full his wallet with papers with a few dollars in it, and he tries to impress you. You open his wallet and you think you have maybe over $2,000 in his wallet, and it's just paper. That's what Scarrett is using, smoke and mirrors. These things are going to disappear. These are not real. These are not real. All the money is here in Scarrett is distributing and spending. We're hearing that Roosevelt, the government of Dominica, is owing the Caribbean court $8 million. Years ago, we heard about the students in Barbados that could not have the school tuition paid, so they could not graduate. A lot of things are falling apart in Dominica. The Roosevelt Square is preoccupied in building toilets. Yes, people who have never had a toilet is going to be grateful. But you're going to be loyal to a man who is using what is yours and give you a little bit of it, the crumbs of it, and you're going to be loyal to the person. You'll be grateful because the government, and it's not about government, it's about Labour Party and Roosevelt Square. These are the resources of the state which belongs to you. It's your money. Whether grant, whether loan, whether tax money, these monies are belonging to you. Stop allowing Roosevelt Square and this criminal enterprise to make you think they're doing you a favor. So they're talking about free money, free assistance, free help. Nothing is for free. Nothing in life is for free. Everything there is a price to it. Do not fool yourselves. Nothing is for free. Even the vehicle you have, you purchase it. To move it, it needs gas, it needs oil. It needs a good little mechanic to check it every now and then. You think it's a free ride you're getting because you're not paying the bus from Portsmouth to Roseau? You're paying much more. So I just want to say something, people. You do not have to listen to me. But please examine yourselves. Where we are in our history, that is the worst we have ever seen it where governance is concerned. These criminals are filthy rich and understand what is happening. All the millions and millions and millions you're hearing about, check your life. Check the reality. Every day you're seeing things are getting from bad to worse. And the other thing saying, oh, give thanks for small mercies. Half a loaf is better than none. Says who? You, who is depending on the people who you govern, who you employ to govern your country. They're getting filthy rich. Half a loaf is not better than none for them. They need the basket, they need the bakery, they need all the bags of flour, and they still need your labor. And then they feed you from the crumbs they collect in a towel that was in the bottom of the basket, and you're saying, thank God for spirit. It is yours. They're taking the most of it and feeding you with the crumbs. And you're giving thanks for them while enslaving you, abusing you, disrespecting you, stealing from you. So Dominican, this is war. Roosevelt Square and them understand it. No wonder they're sending all that police to confront the citizens of Dominica everywhere they go. Because they cannot afford to lose the position in which they hold. And you think it's not about politics, you're going to vote on election day? Even there, they're manipulating. To manipulate is to control skillfully. And to distort is to pull a twist out of its original position. So they will decide what happened. No wonder they go to Parliament and try to make changes to an existing law that will protect you as the citizens of the country where bribery and treason is concerned. And they're telling you there's nothing to it. And you know, you refuse to listen to the news, to read, check the dictionary, the words and meanings, and everything they come and give to you. You don't buy the newspaper, so you cannot even see Dominica is owing. Most of Dominica, I'm not getting it. Defend this the Talinagos have shed their blood, and the Africans, the Negmaos, by the River Clement, the Jacko, the Sister, the Congore, the Bala, the Maboya, the Facel, the Lucy, who stood up and fight and said death is better than slavery. People wake up. Wake up before it is too late. Do not take me serious, but give a little bit of a lending ear to what I am saying. I am nothing special, but I am saying I've seen a lot, I've said a lot, and a lot have come to pass. And Dominicans, we are tolerating too much before we stand up and take a stand. Do not be afraid of death, because life is eternal. Whether in the physical or spiritual form, you can't get rid of life. And as I said, the opposite of death is birth. Life has no opposite to it. Life is eternal. Do not be afraid of that little physical, the pain and the burial. You and I, we are eternal seed. If you sow us, we'll just germinate. Take a good look at your children and your family. And everybody keeps saying, well, cut your neck and cut your father's neck is the same thing. Well, you have the same weight, or you behave the same way. The likes and dislikes. You keep replenishing, replacing, multiplying, and duplicating yourself. Take a good look at your children, or even when your sisters or a distant family give birth to you. Everybody can see it, but we do not believe it. Will not be afraid. Rise up and fight for Dominica. It deserves being fought for, because Dominica is prime property. Blessing.
Blessings indeed. Blessings indeed on Dominica. Blessings from Him. Blessings from the Almighty. Those of us who are here tonight, we've been freed, we've been liberated. A price was paid for our liberty. And now Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit and his cabinet are intent on taking that freedom from us. All the gentleman has been asked to is to defend his manifesto against those who do not agree with his policy. He was not elected to change our electoral laws to suit him and to perpetuate him in power. And I'm saying to you that as we speak now, the presentation of the bills in Parliament is an attempted coup on our country. And if he passes it, it is majority in Parliament, and it is assented to by the President, then that would be a coup. So Prime Minister Skerrit is on his way to committing a coup in Dominica by subverting our electoral process and ensuring that he and his cabinet remains in power in perpetuity. And that is equivalent to a junta overthrowing a government. And this is what this Prime Minister is about. He will not do it with me standing. No, he will not. He must desist from that. At this time, it pleases me to bring to the microphone a hard-working queen. A lady who has sacrificed and continues to sacrifice. A lady who has decided that she is going to stand up for our country. With pride, I bring to the microphone Letitia Kaya.
I need them to pay attention. This one them never principle. It's only the truth. Never hurt me.
Good evening. Bonsoir. I am here because I think we all need a voice. I am here to speak on behalf of my brothers, my sisters, my last remaining parents, my 74-year-old mother. And I'm here to speak for every woman who is afraid to stand up and say, I am remaining silent anymore. I am here to talk about how my rights are being trampled upon, how your rights are being trampled upon, how we are being pushed into the background once again, being told that we should not speak. What is next? Are they going to tell us that we must go in the background and hush because our husbands will be our voices? Are we going back to the days when women did not have the right to vote? Are you going to be relegated to the back of the bus or the back of the train? Are we going to go back to slavery days? Well, I say no. I will not allow a little boy in the body of a man to shush me or put me to stand up in a corner. Baby girl says no. We are being told that we should stand aside and allow a few men to dictate to us what happens in this country. While they allow, but while I'm saying this, where are the women? The women that were voted into this government? Where is Catherine Daniel? Who has been hearing from her? Where is Mrs. Charles, the same one who cried, see what they did to my husband? Where is that lady? I'm wondering, why is it we are not hearing the voices of the women? Have they been pushed into the corner and told to shut up? But you see, when you want talk, you call on men. When you want action, you call on the women. And at the last Parliament sitting, you saw it. Women were in the forefront. And women stood up and said, no, we are not going to allow you to steal another election. And what happened? At 4 o'clock on the first day, that little boy ran out of Parliament and called it quits. At 6 o'clock on the second day, Parliament was closed, shut down, and the bills were not read. Why? Because we women would not allow it. We stood up so strong that a man in uniform beat up a 60-year-old woman. A man that was supposed to protect us decided to beat up on a little old woman. That is what our country is fast becoming. And we go on the radio and we talk about the abuse of women and the police abuse them. I should not just say the police, you know, because we have police out here who are bent on protecting us. But this one police officer who is following in the foot of the little boy that said no law, no constitution, decided to beat up on a 60-year-old woman. That is what we're talking about. So can you imagine if we women would shut up and sit down, what else would happen in this little country? We are speaking up because we have our children to protect. Because we do not want when our children want a scholarship that they have to be told, let me see what is underneath your blouse. That is why we must speak up. We are speaking up as women because we do not want men to tell us that girls are not going to go to school because we need our wives younger. How many years now a petition was brought to the government to increase the age of consent, and we have not heard a word about it. But in 2 weeks, you make changes to the electoral rules and run it into Parliament, while our young girls languish, waiting for a change to the age of consent. That is what the so-called men in this government are telling us we must shut up about. We are being told to shut up while the price of goods going up and our husbands are unemployed. Our husbands are unemployed. Do you understand what that means? It means that the men who are supposed to help us, lift us up, cannot even pay for groceries in their house, so they have to bow their heads in shame. That is what we're talking about. We do not want a government to provide diapers for our children. Sooner than later they will tell us, come and get a check for Stay Free and Confidence and Always. But I have confidence in the United Workers' Party that they will always produce for us. That I do not need any padding from no little boy. And just look at what they're giving us. Some time ago they told us at the ports they will give us a little bit of concession on adult diapers. Then they turned around and gave us toilet. They just putting us in more shit. That is the type of government we have. Always looking at the back door, not concentrating on the front door. We are tired of you covering our backsides. We want you to cover us in the field of work. That is what we want from you. We want you to take our young men off the streets and give them good jobs. We want you to stop pushing NEP and start pushing ATM. NEP means never empower people. And you know they're not empowering you because on $800 you cannot pay rent. On $800 you are sitting in your parents' home till you are 40. Under the United Workers' Party, we had an ATM. And if you go to the credit union just higher up, you know what an ATM is about. It gives you cash. Under the United Workers' Party, we had agriculture. That's the A in ATM. We had tourism. That's the T. And we had manufacturing. Under the Labour Party, they gave us NEP. Never empower people. And half of the businesses in Dominica closed down. Now they go about giving us money, handouts, making us dependent on them. So they will tell us and dictate to us what to do and what to say and where to go by giving us NEP. But it's our own money, got from our passport sales, diplomatic passports and other passports. Can you imagine When you look at the Gazette, 4,000 new Dominicans. If we get 4,000 new Dominicans for 17 years, it means born Dominicans are in a minority. Sooner than later, you'll pass on the street and somebody will tell you, how long? Sure. And you have no idea what he's telling you. And when you do not understand him, he might just slap you. And then your Arabian brother on the street corner might just turn around and tell you, I have bought your shop, you need to move out. People, let not this Labour Party regime of crooks and criminals push you and relegate you to a corner. If you are not going to stand up for yourself, stand up for your children. If not for your children, stand up for your grandchildren. I am a child of a banana farmer and a homemaker. And they taught me the ABCs of life: integrity, responsibility, and standing up for what is right. Mama, what are your power, Kadi? Si ou pa kouaje ti moun naturellement, ou pa corriger, là il tombe à difficulté, là il dans l'argent il est couillé, là où vini pour il est mort des oreilles. Eh bien, so pas corriger ti garçon en Hot Vegas. Eh bien, actuellement il a fan bonan. Si garçon la sakadi nous la pour aller, qui l'est pour parler, comment nous ka marcher en pays nous. Là où dit mon caille parlement c'est ça nous. Eh bien on va mettre yon sans police tout pour derrière caille parlement à dit mon masse à passer. Ça c'est chiméen. Frère moi, maman moi, grand-maman mon gourmand pour faire Dominica, on dit mon masse à même marche dans les chiens. On veut dire, on veut changer la loi là, qu'a fait ça qui va juste pour ça rester un gouvernement manger qui l'argent on va payer taxe pour. Tout là où tourne, taxe qu'a monté, paiement qu'a descendu. Eh bien, on est monde comme police qui s'y pose du route. On est teacher qui s'y pose parler. On a oublié le président là, c'est un teacher, c'est qui pour mieux commencer à dire comment pour du route. Actuellement, même mon dans ça, assis dans le grand caille là en haut, qu'a dit non pas parler, pas du route. Comment comprendre ça, mon gars là? Ou pas jamais ouais, moun nan garçon là ou rien si méternité bay, fait vini gouanom actuellement gadi ou pas ni pièce doit ouvert bonjour. Dominicien, changer. Si moi mon famille que j'ai nouvelle ba moi, si zo parti gouvernement là ça actuellement, enfants maman porte day. C'est là pour nous dire assez, c'est assez. Mon Dominique levé, là yo vini acheter sam, zo koui, yo pas dani, zo pas dit rien. Actuellement, yo ti boy yo gouanom qui sorti Marigot, et donc c'est là avant. Et bien là il sorti, il dit nous il va nous l'autre gouanom pour élever nous, il va nous les notes. Tout ça a été assis radio, yo ka di vini sorti derrière Nicolas, vini rentré. Actuellement il rentre nom ka paralier ka courir. Comme poule, yo mette feuille en bon yo. Mais c'est grand homme ça là qui nous tire nous en difficulté. C'est grand homme ça là yo paix qui fait nom ka parler magie. C'est nom ça là yo paix qui fait yo ni en bourg, en syrien, qu'a écrit loi qui pas juste. Mais si loi là c'est pas pour vous, loi là pas bon. Loi supposée protéger peuple là, mon pays là. Eh bien c'est ça pour nous dire, assez, nous parler pour tirer nous là. Et bien là, nous couillons pour du bout. Et bien dit, nous cadou pour te dire non. Donc, je ne suis pas assis dans caillou, puis ça c'est pas pour moi. Pas assis dans caillou, qui dit, les notaires c'est pour caillou qui fait ça à nous. Si vous ne pas fait un qui monte qui fait un Prophétie nous albon la ibe dit bon Dieu qui paye la vie. Et bien, combien de jours qui restent pour la ibe, si vous ne pas mettre la main pour la vie. Donc, je levé. Fais ça au besoin de faire. Et bien, moi, je veux dire un grand merci par tous ces gens qui nous avec nous. À Souchime là, pour dire gouvernement là, nous pas quitter la loi ça la passer, ça nous dit question. I thank you, Dominicans, all of you who came out, who stood up, those of you who sent your monies, you sent your seasoning, you sent the help when we needed it. I thank you for having stood up for what is right. Because if we stand up, the power in people is greater than the people in power. Thank you.
Yes. You've heard her. All right, and there are many more dynamic speakers who come to address you. But at this time, with pride, I bring to the podium someone who is going to bring you greetings on behalf of Dr. Thompson Fontaine as he seeks to bring respectability in South Sudan. I bring to the podium the chairman of his Constituency Association, Mr. Augustus Rees.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, workers! Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I bring you greetings from the constituency of Mount John Regessery Grand Form. And we want to tell you that in the absence of Dr. Fontaine, the constituency is good. It is certain that they put pressure on the Parliamentary and they got him to be hospitalized. And right now they're looking for candidates and they want to have a by-election in Grand Fork. Regional ostriches take months. See, they never talk about replacing, but they're talking about replacing Ivo. But I want to tell them, whoever they bring in, we are ready, because that's it. We know we not lose the seat. They take it from us, and we are going to win it. Come next election. And I want the message to be clear that in the absence of Thompson Fontaine, the constituency is vibrant. And we're moving on. We have capable individuals, unlike Labour Party in that constituency. We have capable individuals that, if push comes to shove, we have a winning candidate in that constituency. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have been in the background for some time. But now, I am in the forefront. Because now, I observe the laws of Dominica. As a public servant, I could not put myself outside. But now I am a retired person, I will be speaking open. So that is just a little touch, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right there. And we want to thank the people from Grand Form 1 John Regessery who participated in the protest. And we want to thank all Dominicans. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling upon you. We have to make a lot of sacrifices. The journey is not going to be easy. But if we are united and if we are committed, we must win, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm asking everybody, go back to your constituency, go out there and get the people to vote UWP, because that's the only salvation for Dominica, ladies and gentlemen. It's the United Workers' Party. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. I want Dr. Thompson Fontaine to know that wherever he is in South Sudan, we in Dominica are fully in support of his endeavors. and we will re-elect him. We will elect him in Grand Fork when next the election is called under a banner of free and fair election. Not an election as being proposed by this Prime Minister. We will not tolerate it. We're asking him to bring the bill back to Parliament with the offending sections. Just leave them out. They were there already, long before he came in power, long before he was born. The law was already there. What is it that is in this law that offends him so much that he must change it to steal another election? If he is so popular and if he has so much money, then put himself man against man, Sherry versus Lincoln. Let's have a debate and let us see who is the better man. And if he gets elected or not, then that's fine. But he must stand up on what it is he has done for Dominica, not by changing the law and corrupting our country. We will not stand for it. Come out, be the man that you want to be, and be better than Lincoln. That's all we ask you to do. Leave the amendments, leave the law as it is. We have had several elections with it there. We do not need one with that amendment. But at this time, I am bringing somebody who is going to unseat him at the next election. The representative, the caretaker for the United Workers' Party in the Vegas Constituency, it gives me pride and pleasure to bring to the microphone Mr. Alex Dominica.
Good evening, everybody. And before I start, let me express my sympathies to the family and friend of Ado Simon who passed away yesterday. All my friends up there, all my people up there, my sympathies goes out to you. Dominicans, young people, rose up. Growing up as a young man, my mother always said, and she mentioned that to us every day, every night. What you see glittering out there is not always gold. And you always said, Saki Pavle que voué. And she always mentioned to us again, Thomas was so doubtful that when Jesus appeared to him, he said, unless I can see that hole on your side and push my hands inside that hole, I will not believe that you are the Christ. Dominica, sans nous espérer pour voir encore. What are we waiting to see again? Dominica crash on us. Dominica go down on us. Dominica go down on our children. What are we preparing for? What do we want for our children and our grandchildren? The pain and suffering that we have been going through for the past 17 years. We've heard for the 17 years. Dominica is getting better. We've heard over the years. What next? What is the other alternative? What was the alternative then when Alba was there? Money came, money spent, left Dominica even worse. The Chinese came, they spent. What is the next alternative? Money came, money spent. It left Dominica even worse. The CBI came. Monies have been spending. And you heard the Prime Minister at the last sitting of Parliament last week of how much millions of dollars that came into our bank.
But what had me surprised is the speed that this money from the CBI program has been diminishing. You heard the Prime Minister reciting whatever the figures were. In July of 2016, 70-something million came from CBI, was lodged, was deposited from CBI money. In August, another 60 million was deposited. In September, 50 million, a downward trend, my people. In February of 2017, there was only 19 million US dollars as said by the Prime Minister. So you understand what I mean when things are getting worse? And we've been echoing to them every day. While the CBI is an important and a good program, this Dominica Labour Party has not shown their capability in managing finances. They have not shown the capability of running this country. And their ability is to start good programs and kill them. They make good programs, they kill them. They make the agricultural industry booming, they kill them. Alba bringing some money, they killed it. Geothermal was a very good idea, they killed it. And I've been echoing that all the time, all the time. The coffee plant was a good project, they killed it. They decided, okay, we want to put in some money into agriculture. They ordered 40,000 planters of bananas. They killed it. Say, tree your catchway, say, tree your catchway. Say, you guys say that. Tree some. That is what we're waiting for our children and our grandchildren dead on the Labour Party. My people, the young people of Dominica listening here and abroad, for 17 years, our country has been under trial and error. Trial and error. All what this government has tried is dead. Venezuela money gone. The support for Venezuela is gone and dried down. Now our government is looking for sympathy in Russia. They might find millions. Sooner or later it will be dead. It's a trend that is like this. Stack things, get money, use the money, do whatever with the money. Call big figures for us in Parliament. Every year, big figures. I sat and I listened to this young man from Kings Hill, quoting figures after figures. Oh, small business are here, 100,000 a year. But we've been hearing that for years. We've been hearing millions and hundreds of thousands being spent for years, my people. Even some small business blasted down here in Parliament and said, how many millions of dollars is being spent in goodwill? And you know them of Constituency. What we wanted her to do was to identify at least 2 of the small businesses funded by the government that is operational and people employed making money. Yes, money has been spent. And it has been spent for years. But nothing is being shown. I remember in 2000, they boasted of 90% of the small businesses in Dominica was locally owned. My people of Dominica, how many of the local businesses now in Dominica belong to our people? How many of the small businesses in Dominica belongs to our local people? All of them dead. Chinese come, they take over. Foreigners come, they take it over. Surprisingly, when the Chinese even start trying to do something, business was not working. Chinese are even closing shop in Dominica. And that is how it's going. The government will start, it cannot continue. Good ideas, implementation, planning, is just wrong. They cannot maintain. They need people like the Dominica United Workers' Party. They need a leader like our Honorable Lennox Lincoln to push this country forward for the betterment of us today and for our children tomorrow. I thank you.
Citizens are trying to watch it. No one and the others just screaming up or leaving. It's something strange. It's unfortunate.
Yes, Alex Birmingham. Now we've gone to the north and we are on the west with a warrior. We are on the west coast with one who stands with his people. He stands with them on the west coast, he stands on the east coast, he stands in the south and he stands in the north. He is a warrior. And it is with great pleasure I want to bring to the microphone this warrior from Salisbury, the Honorable Hector Clark. Good to be in Lagoon tonight. Tonight, brothers and sisters, I bring you warm greetings from the people of Salisbury, Kudibishri, and Monrache. But tonight, brothers and sisters, we are looking ahead and moving forward as a country. And we, the people of Dominica, must stand for what we believe in. Brothers and sisters, and do you know 2 years after Erica, the people of Salisbury, we don't have a water intake, proper water intake. Every day, our people have to go to Mayo for drinking water. Today, a young man was telling me that his daughter is at the hospital because she drank the pipe water in Salisbury and got her ill. That is what we are faced with. And that is why the people of Salisbury will continue to show that the government is ill-treating them. Brothers and sisters, we were expecting our Farmers Road to be completed this month. But do you know that the road that is being financed by the EU through them, they only started that road last month. A road that's supposed to start somewhere in June of last year. And they only started that road last month. What do you expect the people of Salisbury to do? Just sit down and pay them? Dominicans, we have a serious problem on our hands. And we allow that to continue, we will lose our country. Brothers and sisters, the passport money is running short. And your PM run to Moscow. But in Moscow, he said that he was representing CARICOM. That is serious, brothers and sisters. We have not heard a press release from CARICOM saying that Roosevelt Skerry was sent to Moscow to represent our interests. We are expecting to hear the chairman of CARICOM or even the Secretary General of CARICOM to make a statement on that issue. This is serious. We are expecting the chairman of the suffrage on the OECS to make a statement as well. Because Roosevelt said, you went out there, you heard the clipping. He said he was there in the interests or representing CARICOM. Brothers and sisters, people of Dominica, I saw that you followed Parliament 2 weeks ago, and you saw what happened. The people of Dominica stood up. The few patriots who were here, they stood up.
They stood up for their country because Roosevelt said we're going to pass a law for him to continue to steal elections. And we have to big up the patriots of Dominica. Brothers and sisters, and that is why we continue to represent your best interests. You didn't leave us alone in Parliament. You showed up and you stood your ground. And as a member of the United Workers' Party, I want to thank you. I want to thank those of you away who continue to support the hard-working patriots on the ground in Dominica. Continue to pray for them. But we want more of you to join us. Stop sitting on the fence and look. Stop hiding, shifting your curtain and see what amount of people is there. Join in. Come in the ring and stand for your country. Stand up for your children, brothers and sisters. We cannot allow a few men to continue to violate our country. Brothers and sisters, they can do what they want. They can never bring back the law in Parliament. They can go where they want. They can say whatever law they want. They can never bring back that law in Parliament. Because we will stand up and we will continue to stand up. If you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. The power in the people is stronger and greater than the people in power. Always remember that. Brothers and sisters, as I said in hurricane season, and I am worried about the people of Constituency in particular. Since Tropical Storm Erica, the Prime Minister promised everybody something. He passed by the home and passed back, he took notes. I was there with him, you know. Almost 2 years now, we have not passed back. You hear about money spending on housing, revolution, and everything. Passport money, here and everywhere. And people, the people of Constituency, they are seeing nothing. We had millions of small business, and the people of Constituency, they are seeing and hearing nothing. You hear about dredging here and dredging rivers there. The people of Constituency, they are seeing nothing and getting nothing. I'm mad way, sir. What are the people of Constituency done to this government? I want all to understand that, you know, how cruel that government is, you know. You have money spread around the place. I call it CBI is passport money. I don't know what CBI means. Passport money or passport money. They are spending everywhere. Going to Waterhaven, going to Lagoon, Jordan, and Zimmed, everywhere is money. But the people of Constituency were affected. You forget them. These farmers from source we lost everything. You forget them. Brothers and sisters, here's something again. At the top one meeting in Montreal, about a month or two ago, at the town hall meeting, the government made revelation that they have monies, passport monies for the constituency. You know the farm road in Montreal, where farmers go on the farm to produce. The government only spent $12,000. They said $12,000 for that road. $12,000 maybe a week for equipment of 6 road, drains. That alone for the farmers of Montreal. When you have farmers from Salisbury and Constituency also farming in Montreal Heights. $12,000. But they gave Chance Esprit $104,000 to pay this driveway. You understand what's going on there? $104,000 for one man to pay this driveway from our passport money. And an entire community, they want to give them $12,000. Do you understand what's going on, brothers and sisters? And then they want us to sit down and play dead. No! We will not allow that to happen. We will speak up. We will stand up and we will ensure that this government said it must go. He has to go. And when even wickedness has to be a Dominica, we will allow it to happen. He can run to Russia. He can run to China. He can run to Lebanon. He can run to Iran. He has to go. Brothers and sisters, this is not joking. Our livelihood is at stake, and we cannot allow Roosevelt's carry to run our country and run it down the drain and say, give the young man a chance. Brothers and sisters, that is why I am part of the United Workers' Party. That is why I will continue to support the Honorable Lennox Linton. Brothers and sisters, Lennox Linton was doing his radio program and they asked him to join the come in the ring. When he came in the ring, they started running helter-skelter. Brothers and sisters, Lennox Linton, when we hear him going around the country spreading passport money, no, it's from Lennox Linton. So when you get money from passports, no, Lennox Linton, bring that money to your home. When they start to their parade and say they have $258 million from the banks, no, it's Lennox Linton that bring that out. When they bought about $80 million for a bridge, no, it's Lennox Linton that brought it out. When they want to say they want to spend money for small business around Dominica, no, it's Lennox Linton that brought it out. Because it wasn't Lennox Linton who knew nothing about passport money. It wasn't Lennox Linton who knew nothing about Montferred. It wasn't Lennox Linton who knew nothing about Alison Madrigal. It wasn't Lennox Linton who knew nothing about Cara Corallo. It wasn't Lennox Linton who knew nothing about Angel Lapsing. Put your hands together for the Honorable Lennox Linton. Brothers and sisters, as I leave this podium tonight, I just want you to continue to remain strong. I want you to continue to keep the pressure on. No matter what they're doing, no matter how many calls they're having, it's because the United Workers' Party is tightening the vice grip on Roosevelt's reigning government, and he knows he has to go. Sheriff must! Sheriff must! Sheriff must! Good evening, brothers and sisters, and God bless. Yes. Sheriff must. Sheriff must. Sheriff must. Yes, he has to go because he has deceived us. He has to go because he wants to keep himself in office for life. He has to go because he cannot win an election fairly. He has to go because he's leading us astray. He has to go because just now, like Bishop said, we may very well have a Chinese, Russian, a Syrian, and head of state in Dominica, and Prime Minister of Dominica. Yes, and we will bring a man of integrity, impeccable ethics, morals, and honesty, the Honorable Lennox Linton, into government in Dominica to change what is going wrong with Kerry's administration. That is who we will bring, and that is who we will elect in free and fair elections in Dominica. At this time, I bring to the podium the President of the United Workers' Party and the caretaker for the United Workers' Party in the Roseau Valley, Mr. Ronald Charles, the same Ronald Charles.
put your hands together for all those beautiful supporters that have come from all over Dominica to be part of us. Let me say a warm good evening to you. A special good evening to the people of Cochrane, Trafalgar, Loda, Mount Prosper, and Waterhaven. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, the people that are here standing up this evening, put a round of applause for yourself. Because let me tell you, it is not easy now. Dominica is taking a serious twist. And it will take those of us who have the understanding of what it is for this country to continue to grow, what it is to live for the next generation, what it is to have pride in country. We will stand up for justice, we will stand up for what is right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the Prime Minister started a tour going to the various constituencies. Last night he visited my constituency, Waterhaven. I've always said it, when development comes to my people, I embrace it. But ladies and gentlemen, we must understand that the people of the Roseau Valley specifically, we have been suffering for many, many years for roads. I see that there has been some improvements and there has been some projects coming for the Roseau Valley as it relates to roads. But you must understand that the roads that we're now asking for, we've been asking for it for years. And many, many, many years, we've been asking for these roads. Now, what we must understand is, yes, we welcome the roads, but what else is being done in the Roseau Valley? The tourism industry has been destroyed. A lot of our tourist persons and the persons who have their little arts and craft are now unemployed. Things are rough. So we have to find ways and means of maintaining employment. And we need jobs for our young people. So what is going on now is that we have a system, and nobody can tell me that this is geared towards the next election. And we are not allocating these resources properly. And or I should say when, the United Workers' Party come into power, passport money will be spent differently. And we will make sure that the communities benefit from this. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot have presently a society, Dominica, where our health system is in serious chaos. Yes, we are building a new hospital, but what about the facilities? How are our young people? How are our elderly and persons that are sick? How are they being taken care of? We know that when we go to the Princess Margaret Hospital, God bless the soul of the nurses and the doctors who are limited in resources, and they're doing their best in their capacity. But we need to improve on our health system. I hear a lot of announcements coming for sporting facilities. I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, where are they? Our young people are not being engaged in sports. And enough money is not being spent on our young people so that they can improve their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to improve the lives of our young people. We need to be able to have sustainable jobs. Because what is going on there? When the road project is finished, for example, what happens next? What happens next? Yes, there are contractors, there are laborers and so forth that get in the job, we welcome that. But what happens next? And there is nothing in place. And despite all these projects going around, you still hear the average man bawling, things are tight. And we know things are tight. Those who are listening on the airwaves, those who are home, those who are before us, things are tight. And we need to start to think about the people of Dominica and the future of this country. So ladies and gentlemen, we as a people have to stand up for what is right, and we have to continue to be strong, because I know that some of us are sometimes feeling, oh my God, what am I going to do? Things looking rough. But you have to stand up because you have a generation of young people that will be depending on you and that will be waiting for you to take care of them. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many, many more speakers, so I'm going to be short. I will continue to say that for the Roseau Valley, the promises that were made to the Roseau Valley, we'll be watching. We will be watching for the promises that have been made. Dr. Colin McIntyre have made promises for the health center for Trafalgar. We'll be waiting. Up to today, we haven't seen this for the community center, sorry, and we have not yet seen it. So we are waiting. The people of the Roseau Valley remain faithful, remain strong, remain focused. Because these fast little projects are not going to fool us. After 17 years, we need representation. We need people to understand that representation comes before these little projects going on there. And we need to sustain our economy. We need our people to be employed. We need our people to be happy. A lot of times now you walk in the streets of Roseau and people are not happy because things are not right. Employment is lacking. Children are suffering. Things are happening in this country, and yet still we sit back and we say things nice. So ladies and gentlemen, let us be strong, let us stand up for justice, let us continue to be focused on the prize, and nothing will be better than making Dominica a better place to live and a better place for employment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, thank you for listening, God bless.
Thank you, Honorable Ronald Charles. Thank you very much for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, as I speak to you, we are broadcasting live on Q95. We are also broadcasting live on Facebook, and we are broadcasting live on YouTube. And as I say this, I want you to remember that we have to remain vigilant. The Prime Minister adjourned the House Senate. He did not necessarily adjourn the introduction of that corrupting bill. And we must ensure that as part of our daily exercise, we remind the Prime Minister that the offending sections of that bill must never be presented in our Parliament. We must not let our guard down. We cannot trust Sir. We cannot trust him. And therefore we must remain eternally vigilant. We must also continue to call for the resignation of Gerald Burton because he doesn't understand his role as chairman of the Electoral Commission. We have no use for Alec Lawrence on that body either. And we want to tell Tony Astafan that we are tired with his racism. We are tired of his hatred of our black people in Dominica. We are tired of hearing his nonsense. He has free speech, but he hasn't got the right to denigrate us as a black people. Ladies and gentlemen, I just came from the Roseau Valley and I'm moving very quickly to the northeast. In that northeast belt is a great gentleman, a powerful gentleman, an available gentleman, one who has won his seat handsomely and will retain that seat when election is called. I bring to the podium the Honorable Ezekiel Basil, the Parliamentary representative for the Westlake Constituency.
Workers! Workers! Let me tell you something. At the next general election, the United Workers' Party will form the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica under the leadership of Honorable Lennox Linton, brothers and sisters, whether they like it or not. Let's say good evening to the Honorable Enough Senator as he enters the corridor tonight, brothers and sisters. Let's welcome him. Because you notice that Labour Party have a thing flaring, lying for the people of Dominica, saying that they're increasing votes. Lying for the people of Dominica, saying that they're coming back for free seats that they did not have. Well, first of all, Wesley Woodford and Pantry is not one of it. So I shock about that. And I've told them in St. Joe that we will double the number of seats come the next election. So we'll move from 6 to 12 and form the next government. And you notice that the board of Alex Bruno is heading in that direction. So they're scared. So it's not by mistake Labour Party spending money, you know. It's not because they love Dominicans, you know. It's because they're afraid that they're going to lose the next general election. And they will lose the next general election with the United Workers' Party as it is strong under Honorable Lennox Linton. So workers, get up. Workers, get up. Workers, get out. Get out from where you are. Let's go out and campaign. Let us go out there and campaign. The victory is in our hands, staring us in our face. Forget about these guys and their money. Forget about what they are doing. We can win. We will win. We are going to win the next general election, brothers and sisters. And those who are hiding, step out, because we are going to win the next general election, brothers and sisters. I want to thank all Dominicans. I want to thank the people in the diaspora. I want to thank some of the labor rights. And I want to thank the silent public servants who stood up with us at the last sitting of the House to ensure that the amendment to remove our freedom and our rights from us did not pass through the House, brothers and sisters. I want to thank you. But I want to remind you that that's the beginning. That's the beginning. Because Labour Party will not give it up just like that. So, brothers and sisters, we must be prepared. The public servants who could not be there, I know they were there in spirit. They stood up with us, brothers and sisters. But let us be fair to these public servants, brothers and sisters. Whilst you were in the House the last time, $154 million was spent, brothers and sisters, and the question is to do what? The other question is, where did the government get the money from? We must be fair, brothers and sisters. Because, brothers and sisters, in light of the fact that this government could spend all of those monies from July last year to April this year, $154 million, it speaks to one thing, brothers and sisters, and that is, this government has money. Because when they're in their town hall meetings making their promises, it is passport money, this passport money. We give you the road, it's passport money. Come for small business, it's passport money. You want a car, it's passport money. That's what they're doing, brothers and sisters, it's passport money. But in the supplementary estimate, it was monies from the Commonwealth of Dominica. So they go out in the town meetings, in their political meetings, dressed in red and palm means it's a Labour Party meeting. But when you check, it is the government of Dominica that is spending the money, which means that the Labour Party is using the money of the government of Dominica to campaign. This is what it means, brothers and sisters. And if they can do that, brothers and sisters, and they have the surplus, I want to say to the public servant, you are entitled to your 5, 5, and 5%, and you must go for it. You must go for it. Because it is not right
that this government is wasting all of this money and the public servants under pressure like that. But brothers and sisters, it's worse, you know, because in the supplementary estimate, the same policemen that the government is harassing, the government harass the policemen to go at the Dominican public. That's what they're doing. The policemen smarter than that. They tell the government, we're not in that, but they're right. And let me tell you why they're right. Because $328,000 was assigned in the last supplementary estimate to, sorry brothers and sisters, it was $986,000. $986,000 was assigned to purchase 3 vehicles for the police, which means that the average cost of one vehicle was $328,000, brothers and sisters. $328,000 average cost of one vehicle for the police. Having spent $986,000 for 3 vehicles, you turn around and tell the police that they cannot get an increase. They cannot get an increase to feed their family. How can that be right? How can that be right? If the government has sufficient money to use in excess of $900,000 for 3 vehicles, $328,000 average for one vehicle, the government has sufficient money to pay the police and police officers. I ask you to join the fight. Public officers, join the fight. The government has money, but what they're doing is campaigning the money. Work to ensure you liberate the Commonwealth of Dominica, brothers and sisters. More so, the same Attorney General that's refusing police officers, the same Attorney General that's refusing to work on your behalf, that refuse to represent you if you're challenged within the course of the execution of your duty, that refuse to provide you with proper representation. They retrofitted his office with $96,000 to buy furniture and a printer for the Attorney General's office while the police under pressure. How can that be right, brothers and sisters? And that's the reason why the police must say to this government, no more are we going to accept your nonsense. No more are we going to harass our brothers and sisters that is fighting for us. That is fighting for us because we're in uniform. What we will do is protect our brothers and sisters. And I want to thank the police for working with the public with the exception of one. I want to thank the police brothers and sisters. But the police have a just cause. Because it hold $96,000 to give a printer and furniture to the Attorney General. The average policeman would do well with $5,000 to renovate his house. He would do well with $10,000 to help send his child to the college. But no, he's middle class. He's not entitled to that. All he's entitled to is to work and eat. Work and eat. He cannot save, he cannot buy a vehicle, he cannot build his house, he cannot take his family on vacation, but the Attorney General knows how to spend $96,000 for some furniture and a printer, and that is wrong. That is wrong, brothers and sisters. But I say to you that the middle class of this country is under pressure. This government is squeezing the middle class, brothers and sisters. But here's why. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. And because the struggle is so real, we must stand up and fight the Dominican Labour Party and ensure come the next general election, we remove them from office, brothers and sisters, whether they like it or not. You have a competent team, brothers and sisters. A team that is prepared to work for you, with you, and on your behalf. If a government could not do something in the last 17 years, I want anyone to convince me, brothers and sisters, how they could do it in the next 5 years. But I say to you, brothers and sisters, that the United Workers' Party have been championing the cause, and have been championing the cause for electoral reform. we have said to this government, you should not go into another general election without a sanitized list of electors. We should not go into another general election without ID cards. And brothers and sisters, we stand by that. We are not moving from that position. But we did not say to them that we should lighten the bribery laws. We never said that. We did not say to them that it was okay for you to now make treason legal. This government, with its wicked, malicious intent, have decided, brothers and sisters, that the way to go is to make bribery legal. And the people of Dominica stood up then. They must stand up now. And they must stand up as long as this government intends to make bribery and cheating in the commonwealth of Dominica legal, brothers and sisters. We must fight it to the end. This is a battle, brothers and sisters, that we can't afford to give up on. This is a battle, brothers and sisters, that we can't afford to move away from. Because let me remind you, brothers and sisters, that this wicked government is part of the OECS. And you know, I am left to wonder if this OECS grouping happens to be a bunch of hypocrites. A bunch of hypocrites because they have been pushing the OECS islands to unify laws. You remember the Banking Act? You remember the Asset Corporation legislation? You remember the Insurance Act? You remember the CCJ? The OECS islands have been saying, let us move towards harmonizing and unifying legislation. But none of them have agreed, brothers and sisters, to legalize bribery and cheating. And in the Commonwealth of Dominica, the sitting Labour Party is moving towards legalizing bribery and cheating. And we have not heard from the OECS islands. But remember, it is this bribery and cheating, if we allow it to go on, that will dictate who becomes the head of state and who will form part of the OECS. Bloody hypocrites, if you want to have a clean OECS, speak against the things that are going to affect the OECS. And that will affect the OECS. And I'm waiting to hear the OECS speak out against what this Labour Party is planning to do in Dominica. Because if we are harmonizing laws, let's harmonize laws. If we are bringing laws under one umbrella, but everybody wants to be in their own separate place, I say to you, brothers and sisters, you need to elect the United Workers' Party into office, because we will bring a change to Dominica, and we will bring a change to the OECS. I will not stand as part of the OECS and watch this nonsense take place in any one of the OECS islands and say nothing. I won't do it. And if the other members of OECS are deciding to sit by and watch this Labour Party remove the rights of Dominicans to have a free and fair election, and they are saying nothing, they are bloody hypocrites, because this is what are going to send the leaders to heads of government and the OECS, and they need to get real, brothers and sisters. These bloody people must get real, and the United Workers' Party will stand up for Dominica. We will stand up for all of the people of Dominica, and we will stand up for members of the OECS, and we will move into CARICOM, and we will ensure that when CARICOM take decisions, our people know. We will also ensure that when any one leader goes on his own to say anything on behalf of CARICOM, that CARICOM must speak out. These lazy people must speak out, and they must stop this bloody nonsense when they believe that they have a bunch of thugs and foolish people in the Caribbean and they can do what the hell they want. This must stop. This must stop, brothers and sisters. When is this thing going to stop? When are we going to say to our heads, represent us and do what we say? The Constitution, Section 51, dictates that you must consult with the citizenry for major matters of changing to electoral reform. This government is moving into a major change. Did they consult with you? Do you know what is going on? Except that they try to sneak something in the back door at night. at night, brothers and sisters, when nobody was waiting. But your servant, the United Workers' Party, our eyes always open, we always looking out, and as a result, they could not escape with that. But I say to you, brothers and sisters, it cannot be for the few members of Parliament. It has to be for all of us. And you all must work with us. And you all must ensure, brothers and sisters, that you stick with us. Because in St. Kitts in January of this year, the Attorney General decided that petitions must vote where they live. They have moved, brothers and sisters, onto a campaign. And he had a number of things to say, you know. He said the electoral process is a symbol of a democratic country, and the system used to elect representatives must be fair. This is what he said. He said, brothers and sisters, that one key factor has been occurring where people are allowed to register where they don't live, and that must stop. That's what the Attorney General of St. Kitts said. And he moved further, brothers and sisters, and he said, people as of 2017 in St. Kitts must vote where they live. This is what he said. But this government is planning to go overseas and register voters to come down and vote where they do not live, brothers and sisters. And we must stop that. We should never allow this government of the Commonwealth of Dominica to move overseas and register anybody. If you want to register, come to Dominica to register. You are Dominican and we will welcome you. But the thought of you wanting to go as a government, at your mission office, at embassies, to register people, why is you doing that? You are selling passports for people that we don't know about. Why is you doing that? You are not only selling passport, you are saying to the people who have purchased the passport that your dependents above age 60 are entitled to a passport as well for $10,000. You're also saying to them that children under 20 are also entitled to passports. You're widening the gap because at 18 they can vote. Once you have a passport in the Commonwealth of Dominica, you are a Dominican. So we don't know who, brothers and sisters, that they want to register in these foreign offices. And as a result, if you want to register, come to Dominica. Just as St. Kitts said, register where you live. They must come here and register where they live. And after that, whoever is elected as the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica, we will accept it because it will only be the United Workers' Party. Brothers and sisters, we must stand for something. We must stand for voters' ID card. We must stand for clearing of the electoral list, brothers and sisters. We must stand for legislation for us to know what is crook. Government officials get money to campaign. We must stand for that. And we must stand to ensure that bribery remains bribery. And for any avoidance of any law, let the court decide what is bribery and not the funny-looking lawyers who don't want to declare to the court who and what and how bribery should be defined. We are saying, brothers and sisters, let us move forward. Stand with the United Workers' Party. Let us move forward. The United Workers' Party will win the next general election. And we are going to multiply 6 by 2, which is 12. Whether they like it or not, let's get together. The election time is on. The labor is campaigning. We campaigning too. Let us move on, brothers and sisters. I love you all.
Yes. And not only is the United Workers' Party going to win when we have free and fair election, but we're going to win with a fearless leader. And those of you who are out there before me, you must have seen the entrance of the Honorable Lennox Lincoln. And he will come to address you shortly. But before we do so, I want to bring to the podium a former Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, one who continues to stand for what is right in our country. I bring to the microphone the Honorable Edison Chenfield James. Thank you very much, Mr. George. Good evening, Dominica. I bring you greetings from Marigot on behalf particularly of those who accompanied me on the bus as we came down from Marigot this evening. I want you to do a little thing with me, and it has to do with, as we were growing up and going to school, they used to teach us recitation. So I want us to get involved in a little recitation tonight, that when we leave here, and for the rest of the time going forward, we will all know. So there we go. The power in the people is greater. No, the power in the people is greater than the people in power. Now we've been saying that, and we probably have not fully embraced what it means. But you, the people, you demonstrated that on the 23rd and the 24th of last month. You remember that? So the power in the people is greater than the people in power. That is our theme. The power in the people is greater than the people in power. I want you to say it with me, you know. The power in the people is greater than the people in power. The power in the people is greater than the people in power. And it's not only, that is not only for the people who are here in Dominica now. We have to recognize the effort and the contribution that our people in the diaspora made in the effort which led to the government, the Labour Party, withdrawing that malicious piece of amendment that they were seeking to do. So the power in the people is greater than the people in power. They try to steal the elections from us. What they did the other day with these proposed amendments was designed to steal the elections. They're preparing to steal the elections, ladies and gentlemen. We asked for electoral reform. We asked for electoral reform. And the advisor to Roosevelt Skerritt, that man who hates black people whom he cannot control, and who in his heart believes that all black people whom he cannot control are foolish and stupid, he decided to advise Skerritt and the Labour Party. They want electoral reform, so let us go and do the stealing. So he came with this proposed amendment, where they were planning to legalize bribery and treating. That is what it was, in order to steal the elections. To steal the elections. Because the gentleman who believes or who hates black people whom he cannot control believes that we are foolish, we are stupid. So, what we want, what we ask for, is that they amend the laws so that registration, ladies and gentlemen, the register is made up of people who are legally supposed to be on that register. And they decide they can put wool over our eyes by trying to legalize treating and bribery. I want to remind you, those of you who are here, those who are listening, that before the court now, 15 of those ministers in government now, 15 of them are before the court for committing the crime of treating. 15 of them, ladies and gentlemen. And the penalty, when they are found guilty, one of the penalties is that they will not be able to contest election again for 7 years. The matter has been before the court for years now, and it is for you to be concerned and for you to raise your voices that we need to get this matter resolved, ladies and gentlemen. There are 15 of them who are before the court for treating. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, they made a move to steal the election. They went to the parliament with a plan to steal the election. And you, the people, in whom the power lies, you decided to stop them. And so what did they do? You had some gunslinger in the parliament. You had gunslinger in the parliament. When I was a little boy, I used to like cowboy films. Cowboy. So you have a gunslinger in the parliament. Put up his gun. You saw that? You saw the fast side on there? You had a gunslinger in the parliament. Pull out his gun. Expose his gun. And it has been reported, declared that he must shoot somebody, he must kill somebody today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about this. You see the extent to which these guys will go? They tried to steal the election. And because you stood up and said no, they pulled their gun. In the parliament, the law says that you should not even enter the parliament with a gun. That's what the rules in the parliament say. Yet you had a gunslinger in the parliament, and they sat down there, and they've done nothing about it. I'm going to make two declarations here. One of them, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have a right, as opposition people, we have a right to feel that we cannot depend on the police leadership for our protection. We cannot depend on the leadership of the police force for our protection. And I say that because we have so many examples. When they threaten from this platform to kill us like Obama was killing Al-Qaeda, we reported to the release commissioner, he has done nothing. When Scary went to St. Joseph and said, and urged Dominicans to go up in the faces of the opposition members and to call them traitors and all sorts of things, provoke them. A report was made to the Commissioner of Police. He has done nothing. When Tony Estefan in Trafalgar told people to kill me, they did nothing about it. So we cannot depend on the leadership of the police force for our protection. You saw what happened in the parliament when you had a gunslinger there with his weapon. They refused to even allow the matter to be discussed. In that situation, how can you tell me that the opposition members do not have a right to go to the parliament and to protect themselves? How can you tell me that the opposition members do not have a right to go to the parliament with their ammunition, their guns and ammunition to protect themselves? Because it is fair that the government will not protect them. It is fair, ladies and gentlemen. And the police commissioner, notwithstanding what they did in the parliament, what they did not do, the police commissioner has a right to investigate the matter with respect to the gunslinger who was in the parliament and take the appropriate action, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to be long. I just want to say that we cannot rest. We cannot step back and think that because they put back the amendment, the proposed amendments the other day, that all is well. We have to continue to press for electoral reform. Electoral reform that will result in free and fair elections with the emphasis on fair. Free and fair elections. We have to stand on our guard. Tony Estefan, I saw with a big thing in the papers, and I understand he said that we probably have lost the chance for electoral reform. They want to tell you that we are going to give you electoral reform, but you protested, so we're not going to do anything. I think Baptist, Isaac Baptist can say it better than me, that if they believe that they're going to sit back and go to elections again,
with the same nastiness and dirtiness they have, we're not going to stand for that, and you're not going to stand for that, and you have to be prepared not to stand for that. Because it is time for us to register our annoyance with this man, Tony Astafan, controlling our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to stop this nonsense with Tony Astafan controlling our lives, ladies and gentlemen. This is a man who hates black people whom he cannot control. I do not know what I have to do to get it in your heads. He has deep testicularized in your elbows. Do not let him do it to all of us. That is what he has done. So we are asking for that electoral reform in the way that will allow free and fair elections. Under those conditions, the United Workers' Party will win the elections. They talk about polls. They talk about polls and so on, and they say this and that. In America, the polls were saying that Hillary Clinton would win. That we failed. In England, they tell us the polls were saying Theresa May will win big. They're struggling in England now, ladies and gentlemen. So, watch it. So we want the electoral reform to bring about change that will bring United Workers' Party into office. So that, ladies and gentlemen, United Workers' Party can embark upon a mission to improve the quality of life of our people. You will have a leader in Lennox Linton, ladies and gentlemen. When Lennox Linton came on the scene, one of the first things he did was to organize the Drugs Forum and to show us how, as a government, the United Workers' Party could create 5,000 jobs in a limited amount of time. He showed that, ladies and gentlemen. He showed how we can have economic growth of between 5 to 7%. They tried to make a mock of it, but just the other day, the entire OECS agreed with Mr. Linton. Ladies and gentlemen, the United Workers' Party wants electoral reform so that the United Workers' Party can get into office, so it can put in place the investments, ladies and gentlemen, that will allow us to be able to get jobs and a better quality of life. The United Workers' Party is the only party that can bring about the existence of an international airport in this country, which will have all the economic benefits. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are struggling. They tell us about health care, but as we know what is happening, as soon as they have a headache, they're going off to do their business. We sympathize with Ivor Stevenson. I understand he had a little pressure on him. I don't know who called him and put pressure on him, say he lazy up there at the gardeners, and you know what happened. But we sympathize with him. But ladies and gentlemen, the United Workers' Party under the leadership of Lennox Linton will bring about the creation of jobs. And it will ensure, they will ensure. I say they because, you know, I myself, I retired from new tires and so on. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to you, embrace the United Workers' Party under the leadership of Lennox Linton. You see all the efforts they're making now to undermine him. They know the power of the man. They know the power of the man. Lennox Linton, ladies and gentlemen, came on the scene. Imagine the power of Lennox Linton has forced them to go and engage what they call a crisis management company from America, which told them to go around the country and spend passport money. Go around the country and spend passport money. That's what the crisis management company told you. They say Lennox Linton brought CBS here. Well, you don't think they see CBS is now they'll see more C and more B and more S. They'll see more C and they'll see more B and they'll see more S. Lennox Linton, ladies and gentlemen, has demonstrated that he is a man with tremendous intellectual capacity. Imagine they are afraid to put the man Roosevelt Skerrit to discuss with Lennox Linton. They are afraid to put the man to discuss the debate with Lennox Linton. Let me tell you another thing. Skerrit is so afraid of Lennox Linton's ability and his capacity, his capability, his intellect, his analytical capacity. Skerrit will not even take the chance to write a letter in response to Lennox. Let us read the right straight on these 4 letters. Straight up to now cannot reply to one of them. He must get either the Stefan or the AG or the CAPSEC to reply. He cannot even reply. He's so intimidated by Lennox Linton's ability, capacity, capability. He cannot even reply in writing to a letter from the letter. That is it. So that is what we offer you, ladies and gentlemen. United Workers' Party, under the leadership of Lennox Linton. We are a team, a group of men and women who are capable, who are willing, who are able. So I ask you to stand strong and have the confidence in yourself to know that the people in power, the power in the people is greater than the people in power. You see, I almost forget the resolution myself. So let us go again, because tomorrow, when you meet me in Roseau, I don't want to come and tell me, Mr. James, good morning. But the power in the people is greater than the people in power. And you demonstrated that. So let me go again. The power in the people is greater than the people in power. I say good night to you, good night to the diaspora, good night to Dominicans. Stand strong, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Now let it go for the Prime Minister. Please let us give Prime Minister Edison James the kind of applause that he deserves. Because the power in people is greater than the people in power. And that is what Skerrit must learn. He must understand that. He wasn't elected to dominate us. He was elected to serve us. Actually, I say that the election was conferred upon him because he did not win a fair election. He stole it. And he is planning to continue to steal it and to enslave me, but he will not succeed. He will not succeed by me, and he should not succeed by any one of you here. And we are asking you to be vigilant. We thank you for your vigilance thus far, and we asking you to go the distance with us. We will lead you. We will lead you properly. I worked with Skerrit, and I worked with Honorable Lennox Linton, and I had a decision to make when I retired from the police force as to whether I should go on the political arena. And when the Honorable Lennox Linton invited me, I took 3 months because it was not an easy decision. And I decided that I can only work with the Honorable Lennox Linton. He is an astute leader, a leader with ethics, with morals, with integrity, with honesty. What you see in Mr. Linton is what you get. He doesn't mix it for me. If I fall short, he pulls up my socks. I respect him, and I'm asking you to give us the support so that the next government that is elected here in Dominica will be led by the Honorable Lennox Linton. And at this time I go to Roseau North. We know what the chant was after they went after him. It was more votes for Danny. And I bring this firebrand to the microphone, the Honorable Danny Luque, to address us.
Patriots! Friends! Workers! Those of you joining us on June 95 on YouTube, via television, Dominicans at home and abroad. And by the way, a special happy birthday to my one and only sister Joy, listening from Arizona. I will not ask you to sing happy birthday to her. And special respect to the patriots who stood their ground the last sitting of Parliament to say no to the dictator. Rosanna! Last name in the house? Salisbury? Rosa Central? Margaret? I think I saw Point Michelle in the house. Dominica territory. Maho also. In Rosanna, we love Lennox Linton. In the United Workers' Party, we love Honorable Lennox Linton. That is our champion. But tonight I'm not going to be shouting much, because I have a report on the last sitting of Parliament. And those of you who were on the outside, y'all do not know what was happening on the inside. So tonight I'm going to give you a report. This matter of a gun brought into the inner chamber of the Parliament, it cannot go away. Because the threat is for all parliamentarians. And the question of safety and security of human life cannot be brushed under the carpet of technicalities. If, for example, there was an alarm raised in the house that there was a bomb threat, and 2 members of Parliament of the House reported that they personally saw the threatening device, and they further saw it strapped around the waist of a member of the House, and that the device appeared to be a suicide bomb, carried by a suicide bomber. Isn't it the responsibility of the leader of the House and the Parliament to take action? As a responsible member of Parliament who learned of the threat, I question the said member, Daru. What are you doing with a loaded piece of firearm in the inner chamber of Parliament? As a result, I was physically assaulted by Daru. 6 buttons ripped off by the member who displayed the loaded gun in Parliament. Now, I have since learned that the firearm is not licensed and that the member seen with the firearm is not a licensed firearm holder. The question is, what is the mental state of anyone willing to carry on this person into the inner chamber of Parliament an unlicensed firearm, and further, he threatened to shoot anybody in his way. I was told that in the process of me being physically assaulted by Kenny Daru, that he was reaching for his gun and McIntyre stopped him. Do you see how serious this matter is? I could have been a dead man. Other members could have been hurt by stray bullets of someone in such a mental state. There must be responsibility in this matter. This is beyond party politics. This is the safety of all of us. This speaks to the management of the House. This speaks to the leadership of the House. This speaks to the integrity of our leadership. This matter must be dealt with even at this late hour. In Parliament, we have at least 5 trained lawyers, including an Attorney General who must now rise to the challenge. I did my part by speaking with wisdom to Member Daru, who reacted violently and physically assaulted me, ripping off my seat buttons. It cannot be with such resources in the Parliament, 5 trained lawyers and 1 Attorney General, that with the internet at our fingertips, even at this late hour, something decisive must be done. by the present Speaker of the House for bringing an umbrella in the House. So we see that this Parliament can be decisive when there is a perceived threat. It was done in the past, where immediate action was taken to neutralize a perceived threat. Now that we have a real threat of a real firearm, seen by not one member, but by two members, we now must take decisive action, as was done more than a decade ago. So the question is, what could cause a medical doctor sworn under the most sacred medical oath to save life, to bring into the Chamber of Parliament a loaded gun? A desperate attempt to take life? Well, the book of all books has the answer to that question. And the answer is, and I quote, the love of money is the root of all evil. There who have tasted the corrupting blood money of the sale of our birthright and the corrupting blood money of the sale of our diplomatic and ordinary passports. And why would a regime attempt to pass a controversial election-altering law which would legitimize bribery and treating by the barrel of a gun and a riot squad? The answer is the same. The love of money is the root of all evil. But more than that, the addiction to power and the desperation to keep it will cause men to kill anyone in their way. That is what this rush to Parliament with this rotten law is all about. A move to repeal the law of bribery and treating. And what could cause the wife of a former Prime Minister who knows, according to Tony Asafan, her colleagues were the one who stabbed her husband in his back, leading him to his grave, yet she is now willing to kill to protect her husband killers? The answer is the same. Naked greed. Yes, the love of money is the root of all evil. If I, Danny Lube, ever have to carry a gun into Parliament to make me feel safe or to maintain power, I say to you tonight, politics is not worth it. I would resign forthwith if it feels so unsafe to be involved in politics. So to those who depend on a barrel of a gun to maintain power and to feel a sense of safety, surely I'm convinced that you do not sleep at night. Patriots gathered here tonight, and those of you listening to me by radio, internet, and YouTube, in the highest court of the land, there is an operation and practice of witchcraft, an attempt at mind control, speech control, thought control, an attempt to shut up opposition voices. The Speaker actually shouted to me that you are not free in this House at the last session of Parliament, when I said to her that this one is free. What we for Christ, the blood of the Lamb, whom the Son of God set free, is free indeed. And that is me. Johnny Luge is free. But the Speaker is hell-bent on taking away the freedom of opposition parliamentarians. She tells us to sit down. She tells us to shut up. She disturbs our presentation from beginning to end. She frequently says that we are bordering on breaking some imaginary made-up rule concocted in her head. She tells us on every sitting that we do not understand the rules. She would love us to be her little subordinate children. This is witchcraft of the highest order in the highest court of the land. Dominican's highest court is meddling in witchcraft. A mind control, free speech control, presided over by a head of parliament and a speaker taking and leading us to the law of the jungle. So Alice one night, the old speaker, says she does not know how to deal with this in the highest part of the land. Several laws were broken by Labour Party lawmakers, and effectively Alice one night is sweeping them under the parliamentary rug. We are back to the laws of the jungle. Alex White Knight was suspended the law, the rule of law. It's the fastest gone man that survived in Parliament. You know, I also reported Daru physically assaulted me 2 weeks ago to the police headquarters, and nothing is being done by the police headquarters. We understand that the unlicensed firearm handed to him by a high-ranking lawman, a web of evil facilitated by the corruption of the highest order. If the law of bribery and treason has to be repealed under the barrel of a parliamentarian's loaded gun and the sound of M16 of a riot squad, something is wrong with that picture. Will opposition parliamentarians be executed by the order of a mad dictator? It is time to take our country back. Will you let Scarrett pass this law? No! Will you let Scarrett pass this law? No! God help us to stand and stop this madman and this madman. You know, today I got a message, a WhatsApp message from a friend of mine in the UK, and I will take this opportunity to share that WhatsApp message with you. The guy's name, his name is Philip. Yes, I will share it. I'm coming up with it. Yes, Philip said to me, greetings of the day to you, Danny. Also greetings to your mom. We in the UK have got parliamentary elections today. Myself and my missus went to cast our votes, and without our voting cards, we could not vote at all. Why are the DLP afraid to implement this in Dominica? We voted for the party of our choice. In the UK, it is fair, transparent, and honest. Philip, salute Linton, Francis, Isaac, Basil, John, and Ruby. So here it is, my friend in the UK. He went to vote today with his voter ID card. And we are saying in Dominica, we are saying in Roosevelt, we are saying in the United Workers' Party, we will never have another election without voter election card. Good night and God bless.
Citizens are trying to achieve. And the other just struggling up for living. It's nothing strange. It's like a
Yes, we heard the Honorable Danny Luque. We also heard Prime Minister Scarrett. We heard Scarrett delivering an address to the nation laced with violence against us. And when people within his cabinet commit acts of violence by exposing a loaded firearm in the House of Parliament, he adjourns the House sine die, rather than take corrective measures of dismissing the minister. You heard Danny, that he was fearful for his life in Parliament. He had a right to go in there and to speak freely, without any intimidation. And one parliamentarian on the government side exposed his firearm. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, do you believe that each member on the government side may have had a firearm that day in Parliament? And I ask you, do you believe that if they had that they had a license to carry it? And if the answer is no on each of these questions, then it is incumbent on the Commissioner of Police to conduct an investigation and report back to us. It is the Labour Party that is practicing violence on us in our country, and we will not submit to their violent acts. They can brandish all the weapons they require in the Parliament. We will protect our Parliament. But ladies and gentlemen, you have been patient. You have stood with us. You have listened to us. You have spread our message far and wide. We are asking you to continue the spreading of this message. In the face of intimidation from Skerry, we will stand up. In the face of threats from Tony Astafan, we will stand up. In the face of threats from Alec Lawrence, we will stand up. In the face of threats from Gerald Burton, we will stand up. And the leader who is going to lead us in that standing up and fighting for our rights and the rights of Dominicans yet to be born, I have the pleasure to bring him to the microphone in the person of the Honorable Leonard Swinton, the leader of the Parliamentary opposition and Parliamentary representative for the Dominica Constituency. Let's give him a round of applause. Dominica, good night. Love you all the time. God bless you. And thank you very much for standing up for God and for standing up for country in this commonwealth of Dominica. This Isle of beauty, this Isle of splendor, this Isle to also sweet and fair. We are gathered here tonight in the capital city of Roseau to say thanks and to underline the importance of your involvement in the struggle for rights, in the struggle for freedom, in the struggle to maintain our democracy in the Commonwealth of Dominica. Because a few weeks ago, in a very vicious attack on that freedom and that democracy in Dominica, the government went to the Parliament with the intention of passing 2 amendments to our electoral laws in Dominica that would make it okay to bribe voters and make it okay to treat voters in contravention of the law so that they could continue to win elections in Dominica using those illegal practices. It is not why your forefathers fought and died during slavery for your freedom. It is not why Bala and Facel and Jacko and Congore fought and died. They fought and died so that you could be free, so that we could be free, so that we could enjoy the freedom of our spirit as human beings and the joy of living together in community, in one love, as one people, as one nation. The intention of the Roosevelt-Skerrit cabal is to put the people of Dominica in a position where they will no longer, out of their own free will, be able to decide who they want to be in their government. That is a sacred right, it is a sacred responsibility, and it is a duty of all the Christian people of good conscience in the Commonwealth of Dominica to stand up and to protect that right, to decide with your own mind, with nobody influencing you, with nobody bribing you, nobody bringing this for you and that for you, to decide who would you want to be leading your government. They have done it for a number of elections, and they intend to continue to do it with greater and greater efficiency every time. And we are saying the time has come when the good people of Dominica must draw the line and save our country from the evil that Roosevelt-Skerrit wants to visit on us forever and ever. Amen. It is our responsibility to stand. I am proud of those who have picked up that responsibility and all of those who support them in taking up that responsibility, both here and across the miles in distant lands. I want to say thank you to those people who came out on the streets and who came to the Parliament 2 weeks ago to stand against a law that would legitimize bribery at election time in Dominica. We have asked for electoral reform, and in electoral reform, we are asking for the list to be clean, the list to have only eligible voters on it, the names of eligible voters, people who are 18 and over and are properly registered. They are not dead, and they have not been living outside of Dominica for more than 5 years. We need to clean up the list to have that. We need to have ID cards for voting so we know who is coming to cast a ballot. It cannot be that in 2017 going into 2020 elections, constitutional due date, we can still have a situation of people are just showing up. When you go to the bank for $20 of your money, the bank wants to see your ID to make sure you are you. But when you're voting in a government for 5 years, the Electoral Commission that is responsible for free and fair elections is saying, well, it doesn't matter whether you have an ID card or not. You don't really have to know who you are. That is not right. And we want to change it. That is what reform is about. Reform is also about ensuring access to the media in Dominica for all parties in opposition. And that means particularly the state-owned DBS radio.
Our nation station.
The nation station.
It's our own.
It also means we have to do something about regularizing the overseas voting business. We have to protect our voting system in Dominica from being purchased by the highest bidder, which is what is happening right now with all of those hundreds of millions of dollars in passport money.
that is being used to bribe voters to come from overseas, our electoral system is going to end up in the hands of the highest bidder. And perhaps not even Mrs. Skerrit will know who owns us, because we're not making our own decisions. We are being purchased and influenced by money to decide who runs government in Dominica, and that is not right. We stand against that. It's a duty, it's a sacred responsibility. So we want the overseas vote to be regularized. We want access to media. We want the laws against election offenses to be enforced during election time. And we want campaign finance reform. We have been talking about those things for a number of years, and we have placed in writing our proposals on electoral reform before the Electoral Commission as recently as the 18th of August in 2016. They have not replied to our letter, and they have refused to include on the agenda for reform the matters we have recommended, although we have given very clear reasons. But you see, we have a problem in Dominica. They talk about Lennox Linton. But one thing, Lennox Linton listens and he understands. Skerrit has a listening problem. We asked him for electoral reform. He wants to deform our electoral system to give us bribery and to give us treating as normal activities around election time. He's not listening. The people of Dominica said, Skerrit must go. If he was listening, he would hear Skerrit must go. Instead he heard Skerrit must go. So he went to Moscow. To do what? To do what? We told him Skerrit must go. He went to Moscow. That is not what we told you. We just told you to go. We didn't send you to Moscow. And CARICOM didn't send you to Moscow either. Stop telling lies. Because we only talk about he's speaking on behalf of CARICOM. Do you know? And when you go home tonight, Google it. Those of you who have your smartphones, Google it. CARICOM has a website. All the important things and decisions taking place in CARICOM, all the important meetings are reported on the CARICOM website. Go back to the middle of May. The meeting in Russia was on the 1st to the 3rd of June. Go back to the middle of May and see what you find in more than 30 postings of current events involving CARICOM, whether you see anything there about Skerrit representing CARICOM in Moscow. Nothing, not a word. The Council on Foreign Affairs and CARICOM and Community Relations met in the middle of March. They issued a long hallelujah communique, not a word about Russia, not a word about going to the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, not a word about Skerrit being assigned to go and advance our CARICOM interest in Moscow. But he goes to Moscow and he tells you that he's representing CARICOM. Go on the website for yourself. There are over 30 postings there over the last 3 weeks in which this conference in Moscow took place, and not a single word about the conference, not before, not after. But that is what we have. We have a deceptive leader. We have a leader that loves crookery, that loves deception. And because of that, our country continues to head down the drain. Look at where we have come. We started the year talking about economic citizenship, talking about citizenship by investment, talking about the sale of our diplomatic passports to all sorts of bandits and crooks and criminals. And look at where we are. We've just come from the Parliament 2 weeks ago, where the government confirmed that they overspent the budget of 2016-2017 by $155 million. So they have money. But is Dominica any better off with all the money that you're hearing about being spent? Look at a simple matter. With all of those hundreds of millions of dollars, we still cannot manage our garbage. Did you hear me? We have all these hundreds of millions of dollars, and garbage continues to pile up in communities around Dominica, attracting rats, attracting leptospirosis into communities across Dominica. And the government is in town hall after town hall boasting that it has money. The more money the government has, the worse the country does. Think about it for yourself. The government didn't have as much money as this government has now, back in the days of Mago and Edison, you know. But the people were finding their way. The people were making their own money. The people were building their own lives. Right now, with more money than any other government had, because of the sale of our passports, and the hundreds of millions of dollars collected from the sale of passports, Dominica is worse off now than it was when government didn't have anywhere near as much money. You think about that. Because while your savings, the money you were working hard for 17 years ago, has disappeared, those who had a little bit but ended up in the government 17 years ago have been able to multiply what they have by over 200. You listening to me? I don't think so. I think you're a little bit distracted. But understand clearly. Your country, our resources, our vital interests, our assets have been used cruelly by this Roosevelt administration to enrich themselves, to make what a sister of mine called highway moonshine around the world with our money, while the people of this country continue to get poorer and poorer and poorer. Take that message to your neighborhoods across Dominica, that it is a duty to stand up where your interests are being injured. And it cannot be in anybody's interest in Dominica for them to become more dependent on somebody else to look after their affairs when they are healthy and strong and able to do it for themselves. Anybody who comes to government and deprives you of that privilege just so that they can own you and control you really doesn't love you. We have boldly claimed Dominica can and should have 12,000 new jobs by the year 2025. Why is the government that has been there for 17 years and claims to love young people so much not talking about those things, not setting those objectives, not setting those goals, and not organizing capability of Dominica around achieving those goals for the young people of this country? Why is it? What is it about this never-ending engagement across the country? Promising, but no promise at all linked to any plan to build people's lives in a sustainable way. And the people of Dominica have
the responsibility before them to consider carefully where we are. We are in a place right now where ministers of government on the Spirit are doing royally well with the money that belongs to the people of Dominica, while the people of Dominica who own the money are doing worse and worse, are going further and further into poverty. Look at Venezuela. Hundreds of millions of dollars committed to assisting the Caribbean islands, the Caribbean countries. Dominica alone owes Venezuela hundreds of millions of dollars. But Venezuelan people are scavenging for food in garbage cans in their country. Let me tell you something. Huh? We will never sell. We will never make as much passport money as Venezuela can make oil dollars. It will never happen. But look at where Venezuela has found itself as a result of a style of managing the affairs of the country, which says, I will take as much from the country as I want for myself, and I will give you a little bit here and there. I will build a house for you. I will build a little shop over there for you. I will keep depriving you, but I'll be helping myself. That is not sustainable. Venezuela has proved it, and we do not want to prove it in Dominica, but Spirit doesn't mind if we prove it, because when the people of Dominica will be scavenging in garbage cans because of what he has done to them, he will be living somewhere else with its millions and millions that he has amassed for himself. And we need to wake up. We need to wake up in this country, because the resources of Dominica are being plundered for the benefit of a few. The hundreds of millions of dollars we are making, for example, from the sale of passports, we still cannot see what it is doing positively for the uplift of Dominica. Where is the international airport? Where are the functioning industries employing people that all these hundreds of millions of dollars would have given us? Where is the agro-processing plant? We're in mango season now. You see the amount of mangoes going to waste around Dominica? It died. We still cannot sell everything that we produce. We still cannot add value to everything we produce in agriculture, because we have not approached this properly. And we cannot depend on Spirit and Company to approach it properly, because they have had enough time. That is true. That is why we say Spirit must go. Not go to Moscow. Go. Go. You must go. It is time. You cannot tell me that you have the responsibility of government for 17 years and the country is still in this condition, yet you're trying to fool people into believing that we're doing well. You know we are catching hell. And because you know we are catching hell, you've decided you must set yourself up to ensure that those who are catching hell will never have the opportunity to vote us out and put somebody else there. So we're going to fix the laws to do that. We will use the passport money, the hundreds of millions of dollars of passport money, to buy people from overseas, pay them, bring them in to vote, and continue to hold on to government through that corrupt practice. All of you here tonight, give me the courage that that will not happen. But stay tuned. Stay tuned. Because when they left the Parliament and indicated that they were putting the bill aside, they did not tell us that they forgotten about it. What they said is that when the situation is better, they will come back. we must make sure that they don't come back with that foolishness. That vicious piece of legislation against our freedom and democracy in Dominica must not come back to Parliament. Send that message loud, send it clear. Electoral reform is not the legitimization of bribery and treating and stealing elections. Electoral reform is ID cards. Electoral reform is a clean list. Electoral reform is enforcing the law where offenses against elections are concerned. Electoral reform is campaign finance. Electoral reform is regularizing the overseas vote. Electoral reform is access to media in Dominica for all the opposition political parties. Let us be clear about that. Yes. And anything that tells us that we must put ourselves in a position where we will make crimes okay for some people to win elections, we say no. You're not serious. Because you see, this thing about bribery. Let me just read something here for you, because a lot has been said about it. I'll tell you what, on this matter of bribery, and the question of the payment of traveling expenses for a voter, Halsbury's Laws of England, the 4th edition, volume 15, paragraph 770, at page 421 says, and I quote, listen carefully, the unconditional payment or promise of payment to a voter of his travel expenses is not bribery. So you understand what is not bribery? The unconditional payment or promise of payment to a voter of his travel expenses is not bribery. But the payment or promise of payment to a voter of his travel expenses on the condition, express or implied, that he would vote for a particular candidate is bribery. What has the Labour Party been doing? The Labour Party has been paying expenses to travel for voters on the implied or the express condition that they will vote for candidates of the Labour Party. That is bribery. The laws of England, on which all laws are based, is clear. Don't listen to no foolishness that no Arab lawyer come to tell you to confuse you. Exactly. You can read it yourself. I've just read it for you. It is not complicated. The payment or promise of payment to a voter of his travel expenses on the condition, express or implied, that he would vote for a particular candidate is bribery. End of quote. From Halsbury's Laws of England. You get it now? Halsbury's Laws of England. That's what it is. In special English. Let me read it for you in special English. Of the payment or promise of payment to a voter of his traveling expenses on the condition, expressed or implied, that he would vote for a particular candidate is bribery. It's bribery. It is bribery. And we will not legitimize it in our electoral system in Dominica. Get that straight. Now, when we were in the Parliament, last thing, when we were in the Parliament, we saw the details of the $155 million overspend on the budget. And a lot of that money was going here, there, and everywhere. In terms of small business, they overspent the budget by $5 million to put money in the constituencies represented by the Labour Party. So, for example, in Vegas, there was $1.2 million that went to small business. The Vegas constituency, 500,000 in Vegas, 400,000 in Penville, 300,000 in Tebow. not a cent in Marymount. Then we had another $700,000 that went into the constituency of the small business minister, Rosalind Paul. 700,000 and 1.2 million is close to $2 million that they shared between them in their constituencies. Nothing for Marymount. Nothing for the constituencies represented by the opposition parties. But that money is coming from the sale of the passports of all Dominicans. You understand what I mean when I say we want the passport money to benefit all Dominicans?
All Dominicans.
So listen to this. They take the passport money and they put it in the aid bank. Hard-working farmers have to go and get collateral and apply for loans, so they have to pay back the passport money for the work that they're doing on their farms with the passport money. But in the meantime, the same passport money can be going to scary people in his constituency. They don't have to pay back. So hear what I'm saying? Farmers, listen to me carefully.
True.
Every debt that is contracted with any financial institution in Dominica, financed by passport money, will be forgiven when the United Workers' Party becomes the government. Because passport money is passport money. You cannot be giving it for free to some people and charging people interest on loans in the bank for the same passport money elsewhere. So if you have your loan, and your loan is from the Citizenship by Investment program, meaning the sale of Dominican passports, the debt will be forgiven when the United Workers' Party takes office. It is nonsense in this country for us to be selective about who is getting the benefits of the Citizenship by Investment program. In Portsmouth, you hear them talking about the Kempinski project that is being built down there. Go and ask the workers of the poor people, children from Dominica working down there, whether they can get overtime, whether they're being fairly treated. But the Dominica passport money in Dominica, and the government will not even concern itself as to whether Dominicans working on that project are being fairly treated and are being taken care of within the laws of the land. It is criminal and it must stop. Because you have a whole set of Colombians there doing what Dominicans can do. They're very well taken care of. They're building homes for them to live. Dominicans struggling to get a little job. And when they get the job down there, it's all kind of exploitation that's going on in 2017. So not even with the passport money that belongs to them, they can get a job that pays them a fair wage in Dominica. And Kerry sits down talking about the hundreds of millions he has from passports. He has the millions, he has the hundreds of millions. Spend it wisely, spend it right on the people of Dominica. Spend it to do right by the people of Dominica. Stop spending it to buy your corrupt self into more and more years in government to continue to destroy our blessed land. So, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. They are coming back. They are coming back to try again to pass this offensive piece of legislation through the Parliament, and we must stop them. The power in people is greater than the people in power. You know that. I know that. Skerritt knows that as well. And once you stand firm for what you know to be right in Dominica, it doesn't matter how long the night, it doesn't matter how dark, joy cometh in the morning. And our morning approaches. Our morning approaches. I know sometimes you feel a little down. I know sometimes you ask yourself, how long is this going to last? Keep faith. The time is God's time, not our time. And the time that's available to you, the only option you have as Christian people of good conscience is to do what is right and continue to do what is right until there is no breath left in you, because that's all your God wants you to do. Thank you, Dominica. God bless you. Take this message loud and clear into your communities across Dominica. We have a mission to save this country because it belongs to us. It does not belong to the rogues and scoundrels and bandits of the international community with whom our government is associated. And we will prevail in the struggle for our country, in the struggle for rights and freedoms. Will prevail. Justice will no longer sleep in this land, and freedom will no longer weep. Because we are God's people, and He's keeping watch above us. Thank you, Dominica. God bless you. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. Announce for announcements on the next phase of the struggle to save our country. God bless you.
Thank you very much. And listen to your radios and look at your Facebook pages. Look at your WhatsApp messages, because we will continue to communicate with you as to what the developments are. Please remain vigilant. Get home safely. May God bless you all. May God bless the Commonwealth of Dominica. Good night.